Now, let's get started. As you may already know, per the rules that were introduced last year, the amount of time you can spend in a clinch is actually really short. So as soon as you feel like the distance is shortening, the distance is closing, you should be ready to land in a clinch with the stiff arms on. So let's say the action happens here and you are going to do cut kicks or whatever kicks you are doing, and both of you are coming closer, you are going to end up closing, like in a close distance and in the clinch. Now, one mistake would be to not have your arms ready, because what your arms are doing, they're going to help you with maintaining a space in between yourself and your opponent, and you can use that space for scoring and for kicking pretty much. Besides that, your arms are going to help you for some balance if you try to go head level, and also to just move your opponent in the angle you want him to be real quick in order for you to score. So for example, the first kick we can do from the clinch is going to be a short roundhouse kick, and probably saw this one a lot. It's very used, and now it's used in two ways. As soon as you land here, what you want to do, you are going to want to pretty much push off your opponent, create some space, which means throwing your hips back and scoring on the side of the chest guard. Sometimes you can get it, if depending on how your opponent lands in the clinch, you can get them right on the side, or you have that side gets in the back, right? So for example, if the opponent is more turned sideways here, I'm going to have to kind of do it in the back side. And the way you do it is by not pointing the toes that much, but just by pulling your toes, and the top of the foot with the sensors would just land on that side. Of course, this is one way, and this would be the more correct way, but this is a lot of times this is used with the side of the foot, which I'm not very fond of. So for example, you land here, and because the socks have sensors on the side, they try to do something like this pretty much, and that still scores. But if I would do it, I would just still do the top of the foot and try to turn my foot more towards the scoring side, all right? So first kick that you can use from the clinch is the short roundhouse. Land, pull your hips back, and then you are going to go there, all right? You always want to pull the hips back, and you want to do this one with your back leg, because if I'm here, and let's say I want to kick with my right, I will need to pull it back in order to do it here. That works as well, as long as I pull that hip back and I do a move like that, all right? Make sure you're not trying to do this, and then you try to do it from here, because the space is not going to be enough, and you're not going to land with the sensor part on the chest guard, therefore you're not going to score, all right? So one more time. Short roundhouse, you land here, one. If I try the other leg, I land here, I pull back that side, and I try it short right there. One drill you can use for this short roundhouse from the clinch in order to just get it better, it's kicking your own pad. Holding your pad and just kicking it. And this is pretty fun because you don't need a partner, you don't need anyone else, you just need a pad, and you can literally just practice by yourself. And it would be good to have a mirror just for you to see if you are pulling actually your hips back the way you're supposed to. So if, for example, if you are here, you don't want to kick it from a regular position or regular guarding stance while you hold this, because you're not going to reach it, right? So what do I need? What am I missing if I do it this way? I'm missing the hip back part. So if I pull my hip back, I'm starting to get it. And I'm starting to get it, okay? And you can practice this way for as many sets as you need until you feel comfortable with it. So you can just go 1, 2, 3, or you can just go one at a time, and make sure you look in the mirror, and you can just make sure you are pulling your hips back. Pull your hips back while you're kicking. So this is a pretty fun drill that you can do on your own in order to get your short roundhouse better. The second kick you can use from the clinch, it has a high degree of difficulty, and this is a short axe kick that goes right down the middle. And this one can be used on the counter attack and also on the attack from the clinch. What does counter attack mean? Let's say we landed in the clinch, and normally if you are going to go against a good opponent, they are going to try to be fast and try to score first. So for example, we landed here, they pull their hips back, and they are going to do that, okay? Now, you can, on the counterattack, you don't really have to pull your hips back as much, because you can use the space that they are giving you while they pull their hips back. So for example, I'm here, I don't do anything, and she's way faster than me as we landed in the clinch. She's going to pull her hips back, and as she does a roundhouse, I'm gonna squeeze my axe kick right over the middle. So this is really like a step pretty much on the face. So the way you do it here is gonna require you to tuck your leg in a lot, to really chamber here, and while your arms are on, that's the difficult part, because your arms are on to kind of release it, and then you can release the arms as well. All right, so one more time. If I land here, I chamber while they create the space, and then I'm just gonna release it. It's way harder to do it right now with no momentum while I'm explaining it than in the action. In the action, if you go a little faster, it would be here and just there, all right? And you just squeeze it in and you release it right from the clinch. I've seen some martial artists doing it at the last national championship that we attended, and that was pretty cool. So this way, you would use it as a counter attack. If you use it as an attack, and the way you'd use it as an attack, if it's you are the person that initiates the first kick off the clinch. So for example, you land, and instead of them pulling their hip back first, you are going to be faster than them. You pull your hip back, and then you are going to do that short axe kick, and it looks more like this. I land, I pull, and I just release right down the middle. One simple drill you can practice on if you want to actually understand this axe kick, the short axe kick from the clinch, is again holding your own pad. You don't need any partners, you don't need anything else, and pretty much trying to get your leg over and through. Okay, so if I'm here, I'm gonna fold, I'm gonna chamber all the way and just squeeze it through. So if I'm here, 1 and back, 2 and back, 3 and back. Okay, so remember, the tuck-in part is very important if you want to land this type of axe kick, because the straighter your leg is going to be, the more likely you're going to hit your opponent on the lower body, and you're not going to get to the head level. Third kick you can do from the clinch is the popular crescent kick, and I would like to touch a few points here. So on the crescent kick, this one is one of the most used kicks from the clinch. You're going to land here, and while they do the roundhouse, or even as you initiate the first kick from the clinch, you're going to try to get to the head level right over the side and over this arm. But now, because the defense of the martial artist got better, what you want to do is to actually go a little wider. If you're going to try to go straight short like that, because you think that I'm going to take the shortest way towards the points, like this, you're most likely going to hit this arm or the shoulder, and you're not going to reach the helmet. And this is a mistake I see a lot from more like beginner people. So for example, here, what you want to do, and you can practice it this way as well, you want to bring your leg more to the side, okay? So more like here, and then you direct it towards the helmet. So let's say I land, I go wider, and then I get all the way over, okay? So think about like a big rainbow. You want to draw a big rainbow with your leg, and you don't want to draw it short here, because this arm is gonna stop you, and besides that, they know how to defend here, and if they do this arm higher, it's even harder. If you get wider, you have a chance to actually go over this arm. So if I'm here and I'm going a little wider, I'm still going to be able to kind of pass the arm, okay? Because if I get to the top of the arm, I might be able to pass through it and actually land on the helmet. So this one, you can use it on counter-attack or on attack, as I was saying. If it's counter-attack, that means you land in a clinch and you're going to wait for them to initiate the first move of the clinch. So if I'm here, they initiate their roundhouse, their short roundhouse, and I'm getting wider and over that arm, all right? So one more time, this is how wide you need to get. Instead of going straight towards your opponent, you're gonna get a little more outside here. Outside, so I'm going outside and in all the way, and that becomes way easier to just land it through. Now, one point I wanna touch here is like, as soon as you see the side, you understand the side, you have to throw the opposite or the same leg actually. So for example, if I feel like she's pulling her right hip back, that means she's going to want to kick with her right leg, which means I'm using my right leg. So the way we just use it, so pull your right hip and I initiate the first move so I can go with my right. If she would do the left, which is totally fine from here, I would pull my left and I would get wide and through from the left side, all right? And we have one drill for the crescent kick, which is very similar with the other two that we presented today. You're going to hold your own pad, and you're going to challenge yourself to get the shortest possible on the pad, all right? So if I'm here pretty much, I'm gonna make it wide and just land close over here. So you can even bounce, 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 crescent kick, bounce, 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 and you're gonna do your crescent kick. Do as many as you need until you feel comfortable with this kick. This is it for today. If you have more questions about the short kicks from the clinch, let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode. W1 out.